What a wonderful evening it is. Today I'm on the Aberdeenshire coast and I'm walking along the top of a cliff line, basically looking for interesting images. The weather's in my favour, it's quite sunny, it's a nice light, a soft enough light to make good landscape images. But because I've came closer to the coast, it's windy and the temperature's dropped a bit, so I may be putting on some more clothes soon. But things are promising so far. I'm liking the look of the scenery and the weather is quite good as well, so hopefully I'll be able to get some nice good shots tonight. What a truly stunning scene I've got in front of me. At the moment there's some cloud overhead, so it's not in its full beauty, but it's truly stunning. So I'm going to wait till that passes and take my shot. It's amazing, you just want to photograph this, but as with all images I guess you've got to get the composition right. The sea is quite calm today, but as it touches the shoreline there's some white waves and they provide amazing lines in my image. They're broken up in the centre of the image by these wonderful rocks which lead out into the ocean. Way off in the distance we've got some mountains. They are very clear today due to some excellent visibility. You may not see them in the video, but in the high resolution image they'll be very clear. We've got the sand dunes on the left of the image producing some wonderful lines, and the sand is wet and the reflections of the sky and clouds in it are really nice. Just a breathtaking scene, so I hope my image will do it justice. I'm quite sure it will. I'm really pleased with the compositions. It's now just a case of waiting till I get some break in the cloud cover and capturing my shot. Man, can landscape photography make you nervous? I had to wait about 45 minutes to get that image, and that's not a problem. If truth be told, I would have waited 3 hours because I was so fond of it. It really appeals to me, that image, but yeah, it was just nerves because I didn't know if there was going to be a break in the clouds. It's been so bright all day and these huge dark grey clouds swept in, the wind picked up with them as it can do at the coast. And there was no break, no light on the actual composition that I wanted. My patience rewarded me. I eventually got it and I took the shot that you've seen now. But I love lots of different types of landscape. I do like seascapes, but there's just something about that image I really like. Anyway, as I looked down from above, I saw a few things that caught my eye. And I've headed down. I'm taking a gamble because although there is some brightness behind me in the camera, there is so many clouds now. And I'm unsure if I'll get light that I need to do the compositions justice. I may take just one shot down here. I'll see how time goes as the sun drops in the sky, but nervous times doing landscape photography. So you join me yet again as I'm quite nervous. I've got my shot set up, something really appeals to my eye again, but the light is gone at the moment. It is behind one of those huge grey clouds that I talked about earlier. But I've found some very interesting rocks on this beach which I saw from higher up, and I'm using them to frame and also act as leading lines to a very interesting huge large rock in the distance. It's a very interesting scene, and when there was light here, these rocks in the foreground were still catching sunlight, but as the sunlight drops, these will eventually be in shade. So I'm hoping when the clouds eventually clear that the sun is still high enough to light these rocks in the foreground and the sand. But I really like this image, and I'm quite nervous regarding whether or not I'll be able to get it and do it justice with some nice light. So fingers crossed these clouds break. So I'd say about 10 to 15 minutes have now passed, and there has not been any break in these clouds. I really hope I get this image, but at the moment it's not looking promising. The sun is still high enough in the sky to clear the banks around me, light up my foreground and the rocks in the distance. But looking just now, I know where the sun is, but it is just not peeking out at all, as you could probably see from my exposure and the immediate ground around me. I can see the wind direction where the clouds are coming from, and there are so many of them. I just literally need 2 to 3 seconds to take this image. My composition is framed up. I just need a break in the sun, but at the moment it's not looking good. I'm going to estimate that this shot is possible for about another 10 minutes. Then I think the sun will have dropped too far to light it the way I want, so getting quite nervous again. Unfortunately, the sun still has not appeared. I've not given up hope yet, because the area in front of me is not in shadow or anything. The sun, I believe, is still high enough, although I can't even see it anymore, that if it does come out it'll light up my foreground. There's been no light on the main rock either. Truly amazing, so worth the wait. The sun has come out. Everywhere is casting golden light. Unbelievable to see the transformation in this scene. I'm so excited about this image. I'll have to wait until I get home to check if it's as good as I think it is now. But if it is, this is probably the luckiest shot I've ever taken in landscape photography so far. The foreground rocks just here that I wanted some light on, they just got the dying breaths of the sun as it sets behind me. The bank behind me here is just low enough that it's letting the sun touch the tops of these rocks. I've never been so lucky in landscape photography. Now it's time for the really long walk back to the car, but I feel so lucky tonight. I was very nervous at points, but I feel so lucky. I think I've got 2 really nice images. Been out for quite a few hours to take only 2 images, but that's generally the way I like to work. I feel so fortunate. I don't know if you'll see in the video, but as I was packing up my camera, taking it off the beach, the sun had dipped so much behind me that the rocks in my immediate foreground were no longer lit by the golden sun. Looking back at the scene now, the light has gone. So really, I captured that in the last 3 to 4 minutes of sunlight. The sun literally came out, bathed the hillside, the rocks in front of me, the main rock in the distance, all in golden light for about 3 to 4 minutes, and I was fortunate enough to capture it. So really pleased, really lucky. I was also lucky for another reason. The scene just in front of me, my immediate foreground, had some very interesting sand with nice subtle textures in it, which I think will show up and be a prominent feature of the foreground. I was very fortunate no one had walked across that area. Also, someone came along walking their dog, and the dog and the person avoided my immediate foreground as well. So I was so fortunate. I'm not a fan of using Photoshop or Lightroom in a way which manipulates photographs. I really like to capture genuine moments in time. I've nothing against anyone, there's a lot of editing. Everyone has their own style, but to me, I like to capture natural images, moments in time. And while I don't object to using Lightroom or Photoshop to get rid of something tiny that's not meant to be in the scene, say some rubbish or like an empty bottle or whatever that I notice once I look at the image when I get home, that's fine. But I don't like manipulating images too much by heavily editing them, removing things, certainly not adding things, anything like that I'm not a fan of. So I like to capture natural light and natural images and not rely on editing too much. But anyway, I'm off to continue the long walk back. If you've enjoyed, please leave a like. If you haven't yet subscribed but you like my content, then please do so, and you'll see every other video that I release. You can also turn on notifications to be notified when I upload my next video. But thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next vlog.